Chapter 1. Crash Landing. The storm raged across the jagged cliffs of Taris 9, a desolate moon on the edge of known space. Lightning split the sky, illuminating the wreckage of a small Zorathian scout vessel, its sleek silver hull now crumpled against the unforgiving rocks. Inside, Veyra of Clan Idric groaned, clutching her left arm. A sharp pain shot through her as she tried to move. Broken. She cursed in her native tongue, her violet eyes scanning the darkened cockpit. The emergency lights flickered, casting eerie shadows. Her mission had been simple: track the human outpost on this moon and report back. But a sudden solar flare had knocked out her ship systems, sending her spiraling into the planet's gravity well. Now she was stranded. And worse, she wasn't alone. A crunch of boots on shattered glass made her freeze. A figure stepped into the dim light. Human. Tall, broad-shouldered, with short-cropped dark hair and a scar running down his cheek. He wore a patched-up envirosuit, the insignia of the Terran Frontier Corps barely visible. Veyra's hand instinctively went to her plasma pistol, only to find it missing. The human raised his hands. "Easy. I'm not here to fight," she hissed, baring her sharpened teeth. "Then why are you here?" "Because," he said, kneeling beside her. "You're hurt." Chapter 2. The Human's Touch. His name was Captain Elias Mercer, and he had been stationed on Taris 9 for 8 long months, alone. The outpost was a punishment, a quiet exile after a failed mission that had cost lives. And now, fate had dropped an injured alien woman at his feet. Veyra recoiled as he reached for her arm. "Don't touch me," Elias sighed. "Look, I get it. We're not exactly allies. But if I don't set that bone, it'll heal wrong. You'll never use it properly again." She hesitated. Among her people, weakness was shameful. To accept help from an enemy, unthinkable. But the pain was unbearable. "Fine." Elias worked quickly, his hand surprisingly gentle. He fashioned a splint from a piece of wreckage, wrapping it tight with a med strip from his pack. "You've done this before," she muttered. "Field medic training," he said with a half-smile. "Comes in handy." Veyra studied him, the way his brow furrowed in concentration, the calloused fingers that moved with precision. Humans were strange creatures, so fragile yet so resilient. Chapter 3. An Uneasy Alliance. With her arm stabilized, Elias helped her to his outpost, a small, dome-shaped habitat nestled against the cliffs. Inside, it was sparse but functional. A cot, a ration synthesizer, and walls covered in hand-drawn star maps. "You live here alone?" she asked. "Yeah." His voice was flat. "Not much company out here." Veyra noticed the emptiness in his eyes. She had seen it before, in warriors who had lost too much. That night, as the twin moons cast silver light through the viewport, she found herself asking, "Why were you exiled?" Elias stiffened. "That's complicated. I have time." He exhaled, rubbing his face. "I made a call. The wrong one. People died." Silence stretched between them. Then softly, "I understand loss," Veyra said. "My brother died in the war. The one our peoples are still fighting." Elias looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time. Maybe she wasn't just the enemy. Chapter 4. The storm breaks. Days passed. Veyra's arm healed, but something else was mending too. They talked, argued, laughed even. She told him of Zorathian poetry, of the crystalline oceans of her homeworld. He shared stories of Earth's ancient forests, of the songs his mother used to sing. And then, one evening, as the wind howled outside, Elias said, They're coming for you, aren't they? Veyra nodded. My people do not leave their own behind. And when they come, she met his gaze. You will be seen as a captor. They will kill you. Elias smirked. Not if we're gone before they arrive. Chapter 5, Escape. They stole a decommissioned Terran shuttle from a nearby depot. It was old, barely spaceworthy, but it would do. As the engines roared to life, Veyra turned to him. You're deserting. I was already forgotten, Elias said. Besides, I think I'd like to see those crystalline oceans. She smiled, a real, genuine smile, and placed her hand over his. Then let's go home. Epilogue, A New Dawn. The war between humans and Zorathians raged on. But in a quiet corner of the galaxy, a former soldier and a warrior-turned-exile built something new. Life, future, and perhaps, in time, a piece of their own. Epilogue, A New Dawn. The war between humans and Zorathians raged on across the galaxy, battles flaring like dying stars in the dark. But in a quiet system far from the front lines, a stolen Terran shuttle descended through the emerald skies of Sci-Fi 7, a world untouched by conflict. Elias guided the ship with steady hands, the controls groaning in protest. The vessel wasn't built for atmospheric entry, but it held together, barely. Beside him, Veyra watched the horizon, her violet eyes reflecting the shimmering expanse below. Home, she whispered. Not Zorath. Not Earth. A house by the crystalline sea. They built a shelter near the shore, where the waves lapped against glass-like sands, refracting light into rainbows. Elias used his engineering skills to reinforce the structure, while Veyra taught him how to fish the local sea beasts, massive bioluminescent creatures that glowed beneath the waves. At night, they sat outside, watching the twin moons cast silver ripples across the water. Do you ever regret it? Veyra asked one evening, her fingers tracing the scar on his cheek. Elias took her hand, pressing it to his chest. Not for a second. She smiled, leaning into him. Good. Because neither do I. The war finds them, but not the way they expected. A year passed before the scouts arrived. A Zorathian patrol ship, battered and limping, crash-landed a few miles inland. When Elias and Veyra reached it, they found 3 survivors, young warriors barely more than cadets, their ship crippled in a skirmish. The moment they saw Veyra, they dropped to one knee in respect. Commander Ulrich, the eldest gasped. You're alive. Veyra tensed. I am no longer part of the fleet. The cadets exchanged glances. Then hesitantly one spoke. The war, it's ending. The High Council is negotiating peace. Elias frowned. Since when? Since the Terran Third Fleet sacrificed itself to stop the Xal'thari invasion. Both our peoples saw what happens when we fight each other instead of the real enemy. Veyra's breath caught. The Xal'thari. The cadet nodded. They're coming. And if we don't stand together, we all die. Choice and a future. That night, Elias and Veyra stood on the shore, the water glowing beneath their feet. We could stay, Elias said quietly. Let the galaxy burn. We've given enough. Veyra turned to him, her eyes fierce. Or we could go back. Fight. Not for empires, but for what comes after. He exhaled, staring at the stars. You really think we can make a difference? She took his hand. I think we already have. Final scene. The last ship off Sci-Fi 7. The repaired patrol ship hummed on the beach, the cadets waiting inside. Elias took one last look at their home. The house, the sea, the quiet peace they had carved from the universe's chaos. Veyra squeezed his fingers. Ready. He kissed her forehead. Let's go mend some hearts. As the ship lifted into the sky, the crystalline waves below shimmered farewell, holding their memories in the light. Somewhere out there a war was ending, and a new story was just beginning.